Hey everyone, welcome to Revenge with Lyra. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Here's the rewritten script. Hello, and welcome to my story on Revenge with Lyra. Why wasn't I invited? You always blow things out of proportion. That's what my mom told me when I asked why nobody mentioned my sister's engagement party. It wasn't an oversight. They left me out on purpose. I found out when I arrived at Mom's place, holding a card and a delicate gold bracelet. My sister stared at me like I'd brought a bad smell into the room. Mom blinked and said, "Oh, that was last weekend." Everyone was there. Just a typical family event. Typical. As if major family moments were just routine gatherings I didn't need to be part of. As if I were some distant cousin they could fill in later. I'm Cameron Ellis, 31 years old. If you think you can guess how this story ends, stick around. What happens when you realize belonging was never yours to claim? I stood there, clutching the bracelet, my face burning. The room felt as cold as a winter morning. Someone cleared their throat. Another avoided my gaze. My sister fiddled with her nails and mumbled it was just a small gathering. No need to make a fuss. But the photos were already online. Her surrounded by white balloons, banners, a cake proclaiming he put a ring on it. Everyone was there. Second cousins, even Mom's church friend who once called me overly emotional. Everyone but me. I left the bracelet on the counter and walked out. No slamming doors, no tears in the car. Just a quiet drive back to my beach house. The same beach house they always remembered when they wanted a summer escape. A month later, my phone pinged. A text from Mom. "Is the beach house free this weekend? We could use a break. Let me know, sweetie." I stared at the screen. And for the first time, I knew exactly how I'd respond. I didn't reply right away, not out of indecision, but because I wanted to savor the silence they'd once handed me. 3 hours later, I texted back. It was free last month. The whole beach was there. Just a standard weekend. No emojis, no warmth, just their own indifference mirrored back. Mom replied almost instantly. "What's that supposed to mean?" I didn't answer. Instead, I set my phone down and stepped outside. The ocean was still, its waves rolling in like soft cheers. My solitude had become my sanctuary. That night, I checked the family group chat, the same one that stayed silent about my sister's engagement. Now it was buzzing with passive-aggressive jabs. Guess Kim doesn't care about family anymore. She's different since she got that beach house. Maybe she enjoys being the odd one out. No one spoke up when I was left out. But now that I wasn't giving in, I was the bad guy. My sister, as always, stayed quiet, playing the innocent while her shadow threw knives. But something in me had shifted. I no longer craved their acceptance. I wasn't begging for a place at their table because I'd built my own, along with the house and the peace that came with choosing myself. The next day, Dad texted, "We'll cover groceries and clean up if that's the issue. Just let us come." I smiled. They still didn't understand. This wasn't about chores, it was about respect. And I was done granting them access to a life they acted like didn't exist. 3 years ago, I'd have said yes. I'd have scrubbed the house spotless, filled the fridge, laid out guest towels, convinced myself this was how families mend. But now I saw the pattern, the subtle calculus of love, given only when it suited them. Most of the time, I was a ghost in their story, a faint outline they ignored. I didn't respond to Dad's message. I let it linger, heavy with its own silence. That night, my sister posted a photo, her and Mom laughing on a friend's boat. Caption, "Creating new memories." Some people don't need an invite. The comments piled on, "Beautiful ladies," "Real family vibes," and from my aunt, "Forget the haters. You're doing it right." Something inside me hardened, not with anger or hurt, but with a calm clarity. They'd rewritten the narrative, casting me as the outsider in a story they'd co-authored behind my back. But I was done being their side character. So I did something unexpected. I posted a photo of myself on my porch, sunlight warming my face, a wine glass in hand. Caption, "There's peace in no longer chasing love that doesn't fit." It spread like wildfire within the family. Within minutes, my phone lit up for missed calls. One from Dad, one from my sister, 2 from relatives I barely knew. I didn't pick up. I wasn't making a point. I was simply living free from the need for their approval. The next morning, Mom left a voicemail, rare for her. 52 seconds of forced cheer and barely concealed worry. Hi, sweetheart. We should talk. Your sister's post was childish. You know how she is. I didn't even know she was posting that. Anyway, your dad's not feeling great, and the beach air always helps him rest. Let's not make this bigger than it needs to be. Love you. I listened twice. Each time, I heard the panic beneath her fake warmth. She wasn't sorry, she was scared. Scared they were losing control. Scared I'd stopped being the compliant daughter. Scared I'd found a piece they couldn't touch. I didn't respond. Instead, I forwarded the voicemail to my lawyer, who'd helped me secure the beach house solely in my name after my husband passed. She replied quickly, still airtight. No loopholes, no access unless you grant it. You're untouchable. I lingered on that word, untouchable. Not invincible, but beyond their guilt, their cycles, their attempts to rewrite me. By midday, my sister texted, saw your post. You really want people thinking we ditched you? That's low. I didn't flinch. They hadn't ditched me. They'd never truly seen me. I grew up in their home, but never in their hearts. And now, I'd stopped knocking on a door never meant for me. 3 days later, I spotted their white SUV parked 2 blocks from my beach house. The same one they drove to my sister's engagement party, the one I wasn't invited to. It sat quietly, engine off, 2 figures inside, watching, waiting. I didn't go out. I watered my plants, sipped my tea, let the sea breeze cradle my calm. I wasn't interested in confrontation, only consistency. They taught me silence meant submission. Now I knew silence could mean freedom, especially when paired with boundaries. At dusk, they knocked. I opened the door halfway, leaning against it, arms crossed. Mom smiled like we were rehearsing a warm scene. We were just nearby. Thought we'd drop by. I tilted my head. 3 hours from your place. Just nearby. Her smile faltered. Dad cleared his throat. Your sister's upset. Says you've been distant. That post hurt her. My post, me alone with a wine glass, hurt her. They didn't respond when I pointed to my daughter watching from the window. She's why I stopped begging. One day, I want her to know what self-worth looks like. They glanced at the glass, the girl, the legacy. Please, Mom whispered. Don't do this. I smiled softly. I'm not doing anything. I'm just done pretending. They didn't leave right away. They sat in their car for nearly an hour, hoping I'd relent. But I didn't. I lit candles, played jazz in the kitchen, let the house feel like mine again. Not a borrowed space haunted by family guilt. When I checked my phone, my sister had texted, Mom's crying. You win. Happy now. I didn't reply. This was never about winning. It was about ending a game I never chose to play. The next day, an email arrived from Aunt Jo, an old family friend. She'd seen my beach post and my sister's engagement photos, noticing my absence. Her message was brief. I saw what happened. I'm sorry. They always took your kindness for granted. You deserve better. Stay in that peace. Her words hit softly, like a quiet acknowledgement. For the first time in years, I didn't feel unseen. That night, I posted another photo, me on the beach, my daughter laughing behind me. No caption, just peace. Comments poured in from extended family. Had no idea you were left out of the engagement. That's awful. You always brought grace to family gatherings. Their loss. Each note chipped away at the lie that I was forgettable. The truth was rising quietly without drama. By the weekend, their silence turned to noise. A group text flared up. Family is about forgiveness. You're making this all about you, Dad. So dramatic, sis. You weren't really excluded. You just weren't needed. I stared at the words, recognizing the old playbook. Guilt, gaslighting, more guilt, wrapped in family rhetoric, hoping I'd fall back in line. But I'd torn up that script weeks ago. I screenshotted the texts and archived them, not for evidence, but for clarity. That night, I called my attorney, not for drama, but for legacy. The beach house, though purchased with my money, was still tied to my father's old trust, a legal oversight they'd ignored. Until now, I asked him to finalize full ownership in my name, quietly, with no courtroom fights, just paperwork. 2 weeks later, the title arrived. I framed it not out of pride, but as a reminder that peace is a choice you earn step by step. I mailed a copy to my parents, no note, just my name on the deed. Let them feel it. My daughter watched me seal the envelope. Will they be mad? She asked. I kissed her forehead. Probably, but being noticed is the first step to change. She nodded. Will they change? I smiled. That's not up to us. A month later, a postcard arrived. No envelope, just Dad's handwriting, unseen for years, got the deed. Message received. Hope the waves treat you well. No apology, no accountability, but it didn't hurt. I'd stopped waiting for love from people who couldn't even love themselves. I stepped onto the porch. The ocean murmured, not in anger, but in rhythm, as if it had been waiting for me to listen. My daughter leaned against my shoulder. She didn't ask questions. She didn't need to. We were crafting a new story, not for revenge, but for remembrance, so she'd grow up knowing silence can be strength, distance can be love, and guarding your peace isn't selfish, it's sacred. That evening, I packed away the last what-ifs, the ones that wondered if they'd ever include me, the ones that hoped for calls that never came, the ones that longed to be seen without strings. I didn't destroy them. I let them rest. Now, when laughter fills this beach house, it's real, it's ours, it's enough. When the doorbell rings, it's by choice, not obligation. And that changes everything. No more group chats. No more facades. Just this moment. This home.